Mining job hunt video. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video I'm just going to do a quick job hunt video, and we're going to go through all the areas of the industry that are actually looking for people. So the areas of the industry that you don't have to know somebody, that you can just apply for. So if we come over to our map of all the mines around Australia, this is loaded up with all the gold and base metal mines around the country, and this is where all the work is. Alright, so we're going to use underground, drillers, offsider and process operator as our titles for Seek. Now you can see all the jobs that we load up for the underground on the mining jobs to apply for page. You can see there's lots of them all around the country. They're looking for people everywhere. But if we come over to our underground one and we put any time in and have a go, you'll see all these jobs coming up around the country. So it's underground truck in Queensland, and Agi drivers in Tasmania. That dump truck job is listed from Darwin, but they fly out of Brisbane and WA as well. Truck operator in New South Wales. There's jobs down in Tasmania. There's jobs all over the country. Far North Queensland, nipper job, offsider job, more nipper jobs. So with the underground side of things, it's nipper, underground truck, offsider, service crew type roles, including pacefill, that they're having to hire new starters for. Let me just be clear on this. Like, none of the employers want to have to hire new starters. Everybody would like to be able to grab somebody with experience that knows how their mine works, so they can just show them how to drive the truck, and then a short time after that, send them on their way and have a productive member of crew. When the employers are asking for experience with any of these jobs, it's not the physical act of doing the job that they're really interested in, because that doesn't take very long for a new starter to pick up. What they're interested in is somebody knowing how the mine works, so the rules and what everybody's got to do, that sort of stuff, because that's what people really struggle with. And the longer it takes you to work out how the mine works, the more issues you're going to have, and the higher the turnover rate, unfortunately. But you can see all the truck jobs there. There's just truck jobs everywhere. There's one in Tassie. There's just all over the place. Next, we'll move on to the drillers offsider roles. So just type driller offsider in and you'll see all the jobs come up. And the driller offsiding roles, they're normally 2-in-1 rosters, so they pay a little bit more than the even time rosters. But it's 120,000 to 130,000. You'll see jobs all over the country. They're looking for people everywhere. And it's the same thing, all these jobs, the majority of these jobs are all happening in gold and base metal mines, because that's where all the activity is, because that's where everybody's making the most money. Coal and iron ore, they're still making money, but they're not making huge money like they were a few years ago. So where they're making lots of money now is in gold and base metals that are going into these batteries. So you can see there's just drillers offsider jobs everywhere around the country. If you're on the surface, most companies like you to have a HR. If you don't have a HR, don't stress about that. A lot of the surface companies will put you through the HR, but what everybody needs is a manual car license. If you're going underground, then you only need a manual car license. You don't need a HR license. And with all these jobs too, because you're working on the mine site proper, none of the employers can use equipment tickets, so they all have to issue their own on-site equipment tickets, and they can't import any equipment tickets on site. And the last area that I want to have a look at is the process operator, and these jobs are on the mill, and this is a sort of a good area to go to if you don't want to get into the underground side of things. The only drawback is it doesn't pay quite as well as the mining crew jobs on the underground, or if you're drilling or something like that, until you get up to the supervisory roles. It still pays good money. My nephew's doing a process operator on a big mine, and he's making between 110 and 140 grand a year without giving it away too much. So you're still making good money. You'll end up making up around that 150,000 mark, or even more, a little bit more than that if you're in it for any length of time, a couple of years. But as you can see, there's a lot of those operating jobs around. There are people looking for them everywhere, just because they need bums in seats. and it's all over the country. Again, it's about giving them what they want, somebody that knows how their mine works. And whether you're working in the production side of things or the driller offsiding things or the down in the underground side of things, all of them use the same rules for the mine site proper. And that's the good thing about our new 3-step DIY plan and resume package. The DIY education, it teaches you how the mine works from top to bottom. It specifically teaches you about the underground, but all the rules and everything that goes through with scaling and watering down and tag boards and all the procedures and all the rules, cardinal rules and everything that you've got to know on site. It all applies in the mill, it all applies in the surface pit, it all applies when you drill or offsider on the surface on a mine site. So all those rules apply. So the good thing about this is it gives you a good option. So if you do the DIY and you don't want to do the underground and you want to go drill or offsider on the surface, or you want to try and chase down a processing job in the mill, then the team from Beyond WA can put together a kick-ass resume package for you that's going to allow you to access those areas of the industry. And the knowledge that you've gained from the education is going to see you well into that job, because like I said, the fundamental rules are the same across the board in the underground space, the pit, the mill, anywhere that's working on the mining lease full-time that's considered mining work, and the mill's considered that. You need to know the rules. Now, the mill processing job is different than the shutdown jobs. When they come in with the shutdowns, they have to suspend mining in the mill for that period of time. That's why the shutdown workers get to use all those tickets that the mill operators don't get to use. So it's really important, if you're going to try and get a driller's offsider job or a mill job or a sampler's job or anything that's happening on the mine site proper, that you understand the rules of how the mine works. And all that's in the DIY education. And like I said, once you do the DIY and work out what area you want to go into, then the team at Beyond WA Resumes and Career Consulting, they can do a great resume tailored to the area of the industry that you've decided that you want to get into, using all that knowledge that you've gained. And then the next thing is to network, and that's really easy. Once you've got your education in place and you know where you want to go and what you want to do, and you can talk to the employer about the basics of how their mine works, it's really easy to network your way into one of these 3 areas of the industry. But that's the way I'd go with the mining these days. There's the 3 areas that they're absolutely having to look for people. The areas that they're not really having to look for people are the dump trucks on the surface in coal and iron ore. They're really, they're all going driverless. And oil and gas. Oil and gas tends to be a bit up and down with people at the moment. It was really big a few years ago. It's sort of tapered off a fair bit. They're still doing maintenance jobs and mill jobs, like the oil and gas, looking after the plants and all that sort of stuff. But those jobs tend to be going to only friends and family these days, unfortunately. So I hope you found that information helpful, and if you've got any questions about the industry, please send them through, and if you could like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.